Viewer contributions make local programming possible on WNIN. Become a member of WNIN with your contribution so we can continue to make this programming available. Visit WNIN.org and click on the donate button.
The Ohio River shaped how our region was settled and inspired its growth. Today, we use it much differently than in the past, and one new plan has reimagined how to incorporate the river into our community. Today, we will learn more about the Ohio River Vision and Strategic Plan. That's coming up next on WNIN Newsmakers. Welcome to WNIN Newsmakers. I'm Noah Alatza, Chief Communications Officer for the University of Evansville. The Evansville Regional Economic Partnership, better known as EREP, recently revised the Ohio River Vision and Strategic Plan. This plan has a lot of suggestions for potential improvements in our area, and here to discuss it more with us is Ashley Diekman, the River Vision Advancement Director. Ashley, thanks so much for taking time.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
You.
So first wanted for you to just tell us a little bit about what the Ohio River Vision plan is and that strategic plan. What does it all entail?
Yes, so the Ohio River Vision Plan is a transformative plan to redevelop 50 miles of riverfront across the Evansville region, from Mount Vernon to Newburgh, and it's led by Evansville Regional Economic Partnership, EREP, and the design firm Sasaki. And it's really designed to drive economic growth within our region and enhance our community for all.
So Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from, and what made you want to take this position?
Yes, so I started with Evansville Regional Economic Partnership back in November, so relatively new, but I moved actually to Evansville about 6 years ago. I moved from Portland, Oregon, but I'm originally from Indiana. I'm from Brownstown, Indiana. It's a really small town, so Indiana and just that Hoosier kind of mentality is always with me. But just really being able to integrate what I love so much about community and just connectivity, and being to do that every day for my work is just something that I was really interested in, and being a part of the EREP team. We're all about community and making sure that we drive, economic and community growth for all.
We know that the original plan was released last May. Mm-hmm. However, just a few weeks ago, an updated plan was unveiled. We saw it, in some of the local media as well. Could you talk about some of those updates and why they were included?
Yeah, we really studied and did our due diligence in making sure that we're looking at the levee, the water levels, utilities, and making sure that we have minimal impact to the levee and the locations that they're currently at, as well as avoiding conflicts with those utilities. And because of that, we kind of moved some things around. We made those refinements to be able to make sure that this plan not only looks great for our region, but can be implemented from day one.
In Evansville, what are some of the main focuses for the plan?
Yeah, so we focus quite a bit on making sure that we have visionary parks and public spaces, that these spaces will be accessible to all, enhance everybody, and have that connection to the river, and making sure that we're bringing the Ohio River to downtown and downtown to the Ohio River. And it's also about creating quality of place and quality of life, creating these engaging spaces, elevating our community's livability and attractiveness, and promoting a healthy lifestyle.
Ashley, we hear, rumblings, right, of Owensboro. Mm-hmm. You go to Newburgh, perhaps. You see some other riverfronts in the region. What sets this vision apart, particularly when it comes to Evansville, right? People say you've got Riverside Drive there along the Ohio River. How does this plan really help, increase that quality of life that you mentioned? If you could go into some more details about what that's really going to do in Evansville.
Yes, I think that, we're looking at it from an economic growth standpoint, also from a community enhancement, and just really being able to have those key factors, whether it's driving residents in, keeping residents here, making sure that we have visitors, businesses, and investments, and really kind of creating this holistic story and bringing this visionary plan to life.
So we know, the Ohio River Plan doesn't just include Evansville, right? Over in Warwick County, I'm curious what it looks like perhaps in Newburgh.
Yes, the proposed framework in Newburgh focuses on enhancing the downtown area as a regional destination. We've started with a parking study to be able to evaluate the current conditions, and then we'll be able to propose the next steps.
So in Newburgh, you're looking at the parking study. Are there concepts in place of what it will eventually look, or do you have to get through the parking study?
We'll have to get through the parking study. That's kind of the first initial phase to be able to evaluate and make sure that we take in community feedback, what the community looks and sees what they want now versus what they want to see later.
Over in Posey County, then curious, I know Mount Vernon is also included in this. Can you share what's going to happen?
Yes, we actually just had a community input session for Mount Vernon, looking at Sherburne Park and really listening to the residents in the community there to see what do they want, how do they use Sherburne Park, what do they want to see it, and how do they want to see it look like in 10, 15 years. Their turnout was great. We had a lot of great feedback. We actually still have a digital survey that's up. It's up until February 9th, so if any of the community and residents want to give their feedback in how Sherburne Park wants to look or how they want to see it look, then you can take that survey online.
And I know it's so important, particularly for EREP when we're talking about that community impact, right? When you're developing these plans, Ashley, if you could just speak maybe on, the surveys, the outreach that perhaps you're doing to gather that community input.
Yes, definitely. Community input and making sure that it's a community-centered approach. We've taken feedback specifically in Evansville from thousands of residents, also local government and regional stakeholders, to make sure that we have a community-centered approach and how we're looking at this plan, how we're looking at our river, and taking that feedback and incorporate it into the designs going forward.
So Ashley, I'm curious, we're talking about Riverside Drive going down from 4 to perhaps 2 lanes. Are there any concerns about, traffic going north and south in that area and perhaps how that may be reworked in the future?
I think having, as we know, the 4-lane and the higher speed traffics that happen on Riverside Drive. And by kind of transitioning it down to 2 lanes, it really creates a walkable city, increases drives safety and really creates that connection to the river that people can safely walk to and from the river, just an easy, seamless connectivity.
Are you hoping that, by perhaps limiting or bringing the road down from 4 to 2 lanes, it spurs, right, people going into more restaurants? Can you talk about some of that economic growth there?
It becomes a more walkable downtown, and we know that walkable downtowns are, it creates this cohesive flow of being able to, whether it's just having a nice leisurely walk and stopping at a coffee shop or an ice cream shop along the river, or really taking in a big event, whether it's the 4th of July or the marathon, being able to have these amazing public space and enjoy it and have residents enjoy it as well as visitors and businesses.
Mickey's Kingdom, right, the children's play place right there along Riverside, relatively new within the last couple of years. Talk to me about, in those renderings, it's kind of showing perhaps some recreation space, some areas for sports even perhaps. Can you just kind of shed some more light on what that looks like?
Definitely. We definitely, Mickey's Kingdom is still there. We've slightly relocated it. It's actually going to be a little bit bigger within this plan to be able to provide that space, that welcoming, engaging space for kids, vibrant, and as well as creating, again, this healthy, active lifestyle, incorporating sport courts. We've seen just the positive impact that the skate park has, had on the community. Anytime on any given day, you'll be able to see this bustling of people around the skate park, and just knowing what that does for our community, and we're just enhancing on that, really making sure that we have engaging spaces, vibrant spaces, active spaces to be able to give back to our community.
And we know this is going to be a place for all, right? Children through seniors. I mean, all age groups. The other thing I'm curious about too, we talk about the levee, we talk about perhaps some flooding. Are there any proactive plans in place to, as we're looking at the River Vision Plan, any plans in place to ensure that that we're monitoring the flooding that could perhaps happen?
Definitely. So a lot of these revisions that we did make before were based on some of the information that we had from LIDAR, which is a light detection 3D mapping technology. And we're able to look at the levee and the levee locations, and we really want to make sure that we're minimizing impact to the current levee. And any additional levee or changes that we do, it'll all be incorporated into the overall design to create this holistic kind of flow, this natural scape that we have, this landscape that we have. And I think that it just makes this new design and this new plan for our region just a little bit more inclusive, not only for people, but also just like down to the nitty-gritty of looking at, this is a levee, but you can't tell that it's a levee.
It's so neat that, you know, we're taking that natural beauty and we're really amplifying it, putting it on display, you know, not only for Evansville and the region, but, you know, for the broader
Yes.
visitors that come to the tri-state. So Ashley, you know, we talked about those plans, you know, particularly for Evansville, Mount Vernon, and Newburgh. Are there any plans to connect, you know, between those cities? Is it just focused in the cities, or is it kind of along the entire riverfront between those areas?
Yeah, right now we kind of have the hubs, or kind of the bend, as we call it, for downtown Evansville, but really creating these central hubs for this regional destination. But that's not to say that there's not trails connecting, and we are looking at this as a 50-mile, you know, redevelopment of our riverfront. But right now, a lot of the kind of transformation will happen in our, you know, main corridors of our cities.
It's such a transformative project, and I think one of the most striking features of the renderings that were shared there, right, is this new Great Bend Park. What was the inspiration behind the Great Bend Park?
It's connection. It's being able to connect the Ohio River to downtown and the downtown to Ohio River. It truly celebrates the river, and it's one of our best assets that we have in our backyard.
What's included in the park?
So we'll have the terrace steps, the lawn, flex space of being able to move in and out, woodland play yards, or the play space, just really incorporating all of the downtown riverfront and making sure that it's just this thread of these iconic spaces to be able to enjoy and explore.
Does anything happen then to Dress Plaza there in downtown Evansville? Is that kind of part of the overall concept design as well, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah, it'll all be revitalized. I mean, we'll definitely keep the historic places and monuments and make sure that we're revitalizing and paying honor to those spaces that are part of our history.
Sure. So curious how this is going to be funded, and do you think it will be challenging to raise, you know, funds for any of these projects going forward?
Yeah, we're actively pursuing federal, private, and philanthropic funding opportunities to make sure that we bring this visionary plan to life.
Talk to me about, you know, how closely you're going to work then. I know you just mentioned it with local governments. Do you just kind of handle this plan, kind of hand the plan off to them? Is EREP really spearheading it? Kind of help us understand the overall structure of what happens as we progress forward.
Yeah, we are true partnerships in making this plan a reality, or we're creating a true partnership, sorry. This plan really integrates, like I said before, the thousands of residents, the feedback from thousands of residents, also the local government and regional stakeholders, making sure that we have this community-centered approach and making sure that we have regional collaboration to move forward.
Is there anything that, you know, might surprise residents out of this plan, right? They might say, wow, this is incredible. I'm surprised that we're including this. Yeah. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I really think that this plan is truly amazing, and what is, I think that strikes just really at the heart of who I am is that it's something for everyone. It's accessible, it's inclusive, it creates vibrant spaces where currently none exist, and making sure that we're aimed at driving sustainable growth and regional partnership.
And Ashley, you've been in your role since November, right? Mm-hmm. Some of the work that you've already accomplished. What did the next perhaps 6 months to a year look like for you?
Yeah, I think that we're making sure that we're driving this plan forward, really looking at what's underneath, what is our next steps, and being able to ensure that this plan moves forward, and really progressing in the design and working with all the stakeholders involved, whether it's within our community or outside of our community, and making sure we bring this plan to life.
Why now?
Yeah, why now? Well, the city's first master plan that dates back to 1928, even then it called for a more robust riverfront development on the riverfront. And I think now is the opportunity to be able to give our region, our community, this transformative park, this public space to be able to enjoy, to take a walk and be able to just take in our amazing riverfront.
And I think the question a lot of people are curious about, right? What is the timeline for these projects? How soon are we going to see change in these riverfront areas?
Yeah, this is a significant project, transformative project in our region. And we even disclosed it before. The full vision of this will be a multi-decade approach, a multi-decade project. But looking at it in phases, what's our next phase? So right now we're in our due diligence and design phase, making sure that everything we release we can do, because we're looking at the levee locations, we're looking at the water levels, we're seeing what our designs, and if something fluctuates, how does that look and how does that impact our designs? So we are progressing the plan forward.
Is there a city or riverfront area that will get attention first, perhaps, that we'll say the work may begin first?
Yeah, no, I think that we're looking at these like in collaboration and making sure that we're working with all of the regional stakeholders in our partnerships and making sure that we are advancing our regional riverfront, and they will be on different phases and stages, but that doesn't mean one might go first or, but we're looking at them all together.
It's such a massive project, and we know that there will, inevitably probably be a little tweaks and changes as we progress. Is there a place someone can go to find out more information about what's happening?
Yeah, you can go to our website to be able to look at the revised plan that we have with the refinements, and we'll be able to showcase that. And we'll keep updating our community on the progress that we're making.
Is there a time we can expect the next big update from?
Yeah, we're currently working on that now, and how we look at kind of the feedback that we've gotten from our revisions, and then moving forward in the next steps in the schematic design phase.
Ashley Diekman, the River Vision Coordinator for EREP, thank you so much for making time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome to a special WNIN Newsmakers segment that highlights local businesses. Joining us today is Matt Smorch, President and CEO of Country Mart. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about what products and services your business provides.
Well, Country Mart is probably the smallest integrated oil company in the world, actually. So we're a production, refining, transportation, marketing company. So we make high quality diesel fuel and gasoline.
Where would you find this being distributed?
So we have a refinery that's over in Mount Vernon, which is west of Evansville here. But we have a pipeline, a proprietary products pipeline, and a terminal system that runs throughout the state of Indiana. So basically from the refinery up to north of Indianapolis is our first segment of pipeline. And then from Indianapolis area up to Peru kind of runs straight north. And so we sell products primarily in Indiana, and then it kind of bleed over into the surrounding states.
From the neighboring states.
Yep.
So how long have you been in business, and how did you get started?
Country Mart?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's actually a great story. Country Mart was basically our roots we talked to about from 1919. So Indiana Farm Bureau, that also sells the advocacy group, but also do insurance. That's basically when Indiana Farm Bureau started, and Country Mart used to be Indiana Farm Bureau Cooperative. And so we're a farmer-owned, we were the brother of Indiana Farm Bureau, the for-profit part of the company. And so we started off and we used to have cooperatives in every county in the state, and it was for profit, and we were supplying things like twine and chickens, okay? And then in 1939, a lot of people don't realize this, but oil was discovered in Griffin, Indiana,
No.
out west. Yes, and so in 1939, so what does the farmer-owned cooperative do? Hey, they decide, hey, let's build a refinery over in Mount Vernon. And so it was basically to take local crude and process it into high-quality products, because the cooperative system really started because they couldn't get quality products. And so farmers wanted to pool their resources and then have a bigger say with suppliers. And so lubricating oils and fuels and all of those things were always a problem to get to make sure they had high quality. So they basically said, hey, let's start a refinery. And so the refinery was built in 1940. And so we've been in operation since 1940 from a refining standpoint.
Wow. Now, how do you see the business growing and expanding in the future?
Well, the expansion, it's since I've been here, I've been at Country Mark for a little over 22 years, 23 years. And since I've been here, we've expanded the plant, the processing capabilities, at least 50%. So we've increased the capacity. And we're looking at going and expanding that capacity again. Because the way our system is, we supply the local cooperative with their high-quality fuels. And their business continues to grow. So it's not just the agriculture business. We probably supply over 70% of the farms in Indiana. But we also do municipalities. We got about half the school systems in the state where we supply diesel fuel. And they're always continuing to grow their business into construction, home-based fleets, and things like that. So for us to keep up with them as they grow their business, we got to continue to go and be able to refine more crude oil into high-quality products so we can keep up with their demand, which is still growing.
Oh, that's a good problem.
That is a good problem,
So
for
what,
sure.
what kind of challenges have you faced? And then how do you overcome some of those obstacles?
Well, there's always challenges in our
Sure.
business, and you know, especially this day and age where we have a energy transition, so-called energy transition, where we want to go and electrify everything. We have to do, one of the things that is our challenges is that we have a obligation to blend renewable fuel, ethanol, biodiesel. And we're big proponents of ethanol and biodiesel blending because those are made from farm products and they're
Right.
our owners. The thing is that the way the math is, we have a hard time being able to blend enough renewable fuels to meet the obligation that we have. And so it costs us $40 to $50 million a year just for compliance costs. So one of the things that we're doing, we're making a fairly big investment at the refinery where we're going to be able to go and co-process soybean oil and have a renewable portion of our diesel fuel. So it'll go right into the refinery process, and it'll be commingled with our diesel fuel. So that's one thing that we're doing to kind of overcome that. But the big thing today, and it's not so much in Indiana, it's not so much here, but I talked about the electrification of everything.
Right.
I mean, policy and even the federal government is putting rules in place that are basically going to go and get rid of the internal combustion engine. And California's already said they're going to ban it by 2035. People don't realize that there's 15 or so states that adopt California rules. So it's not just California, it'll be 40% of the country's going to ban the internal combustion engine. Where when you look at that, the infrastructure for electric vehicles and all that, it doesn't exist.
Well, what would you say is the most gratifying aspect of your business?
Oh, the most gratifying is, you know what, I know this might sound cliche, but I tell you, the people that we have in our business are really great. I mean, we are owned by farmers. We serve rural communities. We have like 125 service stations, or gas stations, but they primarily are in rural Indiana, so they're not in the big cities and things like that. And when you go and you can serve the people in the rural communities, it just makes it so much more satisfying. The other thing too is being a cooperative. When we make money, we get to share that money with our members. And so if we make money, we can distribute returns to our members, and then that in turn gets distributed locally. So if we make money, that money stays local. So when I look at it, we have about 500 employees at Country Mark, but our membership have a few thousand employees. And then when you look at all the people that are part of that system, and also people that we purchase oil from in the Illinois Basin, which is southern Indiana, western Kentucky, and southern Illinois. I mean, we have a big footprint, even though we're very small in our industry.
So it's a win-win for everyone.
It's a great win for everybody.
Well, thank you so
sure.
much for coming in and sharing this information.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks to our guest for joining us to talk about the Ohio River Vision and Strategic Plan. I'm Noah Alatza, Chief Communications Officer for the University of Evansville. Thanks for watching WNIN Newsmakers.